June 25th, 2022, 7:14 a.m., Lysychansk, Luhansk Oblast. Ukrainian forces defend city, 5,000 soldiers, against 20,000 Russians surrounding them. Severodonetsk across river just fell. Russians control all territory around Lysychansk except one road south, single supply route, under constant artillery fire. Russian forces attack from 3 directions: north, east, south. Each day brings closer to encirclement. Each day Ukrainians hold, impossibly, against odds that should guarantee defeat. For 30 days this continues. 5,000 against 20,000. One supply row. Constant bombardment. Defenders hold. Not because winning, because withdrawal isn't authorized yet. Because every day delays Russian advance elsewhere. Because holding Lysychansk costs Russians time and casualties they can't afford easily. The battle continues. Russians attack daily. Multiple directions. Overwhelming firepower. Artillery pounds city continuously. Thousands of shells daily. Buildings are rubble. Infrastructure destroyed. Defenders fight from ruins, from basements, from positions prepared months ago. Casualties accumulate both sides. Ukrainian losses are steady, sustainable barely. Russian losses are higher. Attack costs more than defense. Always has. But Russians have reserves. Ukrainians don't. Math is inevitable. Eventually defenders must withdraw, or be encircled, or die. Command knows this. Soldiers know this. Everyone knows. Still hold. Because 30 days delays is worth the cost. Maybe. At 11:47 p.m. July 2nd, 37 days after defense began, Ukrainian command orders withdrawal. Lysychansk is lost. Staying means encirclement, means destruction of defending force. Withdrawal is only option. Begins immediately. Under fire. Russians pursue. Try to cut off retreat. Block escape route. Ukrainian rearguard. Fights. Holds Russians back. Buys time. Main force withdraws south. Through artillery fire. Through airstrikes. Professional extraction. Costly. But successful. Most defenders escape. Retreat to new defensive positions. Lysychansk falls to Russian control. Empty. Ruined. Bought with blood both sides. Caused 30 days of Russian offensive operations. Delayed advance. Preserved Ukrainian force for defense elsewhere. Tactical defeat. Strategic necessity. Professional military decision. Bitter rationale. This is IronBullet. And what happened at Lysychansk wasn't heroic last stand ending in death. Was professional defensive operation ending in calculated withdrawal, where 5,000 held against 20,000 for 30 days not to win but to delay, where every day cost Russians casualties and time, where withdrawal was planned, executed professionally, preserved fighting force. This is how competent militaries fight losing battles, extract maximum cost from enemy, then withdraw before force is destroyed. Emotions are irrelevant. Calculations matter. Lysychansk defense succeeded, cost them. Then preserved Ukrainian force through withdrawal. The question isn't whether Ukrainians lost city. They did. Question is, why hold 30 days against overwhelming odds? What calculation justified casualties? And what successful withdrawal under fire reveals about Ukrainian military's professionalism versus Russian military's inability to prevent organized retreat despite overwhelming advantages. Official Ukrainian statements during defense. Defiant. Lysychansk holds. Daily updates emphasizing resistance. No mention of inevitable withdrawal. Because operational security. Because morale. because admitting planned withdrawal helps enemy prepare. Statements were propaganda, also partially true. City did hold, until didn't. When withdrawal ordered, statements changed. Tactical repositioning, preserving forces. Same event, different framing, both true. City abandoned, force preserved. Success and failure simultaneously. Russian statements, confident progressing to triumphant. Lysychansk surrounded. Enemy trapped. Liberation imminent. Then sudden confusion when Ukrainians withdrew successfully. Enemy fled in panic. Not true. Was organized withdrawal. Difficult but professional. Russian statements pretended disorganized rout. Reality was opposite. Ukrainians extracted force despite Russian attempts to prevent. This is difference between propaganda and fact. Propaganda says what sounds. Lysychansk statements were propaganda both sides. Facts were more complex. Stay with me, because the detail that explains Lysychansk, why 5,000 held 30 days then withdrew successfully, is going to show you that defensive operations have mathematical certainty. Can calculate how long force holds based on casualty rates and supply availability. Ukrainian command knew Lysychansk was indefensible long term. Knew withdrawal was inevitable. Question was timing. Hold too long, force gets encircled, destroyed. Withdraw too early. Give up position that could have delayed enemy longer. Optimal timing, maximum delay, minimum casualties. This is professional military calculation. Emotions don't determine. Math. Thus, Lysychansk held 30 days because math said that was optimal. Withdrew because math said waiting longer guaranteed encirclement. Professional military operations are calculated, not emotional. Lysychansk defense proves this. Let's establish what Lysychansk defense actually was, why it mattered, how it ended. Lysychansk, twin city with Severodonetsk across. Siversky Donetsk River. Hills provide defensive advantage, higher elevation than surroundings, good observation, defensible terrain, strategic value, moderate. Last Ukrainian held city in Luhansk Oblast. Losing it means Russia controls entire oblast. Symbolic value high, political pressure to hold. Military reality indefensible against such. Russian forces had overwhelming force, had time, had firepower, had numbers. Ukrainian forces had determination, had defensive terrain, had competence, didn't have enough of anything else. Math was clear. Lysychansk would fall eventually. Question was when and how. Ukrainian defensive force, approximately 5,000 soldiers, mix of regular army, territorial defense, National Guard, equipped adequately, not overwhelmingly, enough ammunition for defense, not for counterattacks, artillery support limited, outgunned significantly by Russians. Defenders knew odds, knew withdrawal was eventual, orders were held as long as possible, extract maximum cost, then withdraw professionally. This is defensive doctrine when position is untenable but delaying valuable. Soldiers understood mission, accepted it, fought professionally. For 30 days, Russian attacking force, 20,000 plus soldiers, multiple brigades, battalion tactical groups, overwhelming artillery advantage, air superiority, every material advantage, should have captured Lysychansk quickly. Didn't, because urban defense is difficult, because Ukrainian defenders were competent, because artillery can destroy buildings but not dislodge determined defenders from rubble. Russians had advantages. Ukrainians had terrain and skill. Advantage versus skill produces casualties. Both sides. Eventually, advantage wins through attrition. Took 30 days. cost heavily. Russians won position. Ukrainians preserved force. Both claim success. Both partially right. 30 days. What defenders experienced week by week. Week 1, heavy assault. Russians attacking from 3 directions. Constant artillery bombardment. Defenders fight from prepared positions. Casualties are steady, sustainable. Defense holds. Supply route south is open. Dangerous but functional. Morale is determined. Mission is clear. Hold city. Cost Russians. Defenders achieve this. First week, successful defense. Sustainable casualties. Clear mission. Week 2, assault intensifies. Russians bring more artillery, more troops. Attacks become larger, more coordinated. Ukrainian casualties increase, still sustainable. Supply route takes more fire, becomes more dangerous. Some supplies don't get through. Rationing begin. Defenders still hold all major positions intact. Russians control some outskirts. City center holds. Second week, defense holds. Casualties increasing. Supplies tightening. Situation degrading but manageable. Week 3, critical phase. Russian encirclement advancing. Supply route is nearly cut. Only narrow corridor remains. Under constant artillery fire. Supplies are critically low. Ammunition rationed strictly. Casualties are mounting. Defensive positions are compressed. Russians control most approaches. Encirclement is imminent. Command must decide continue or withdraw. Decision continue. 1 more week. Extract maximum cost. Then withdraw. Third week, defense holds, but barely. Encirclement imminent. Withdrawal preparation begins quietly. Week 4, final week. Encirclement is hours away. Supply route will close soon. Ukrainian command orders withdrawal. Night of July 2nd. Professional execution. Rearguard holds positions. Main force withdraws south. Through narrow corridor. Under fire. Russians try to block. Rearguard prevents this. Fights. Dies. Buys time. Main force escapes. Most defenders survive. Reach new defensive lines. Lysychansk falls. Mission accomplished. Delayed Russians 30 days. Preserved force. Professional success. Bitter victory. Both accurate. Now the analysis. Why this happened. What it means. Calculated defense. Ukrainian command knew Lysychansk was indefensible. Held anyway. Why? Delayed Russian offensive. Every day Russians spent at Lysychansk was day not spent elsewhere. Delay has strategic value. Costs enemy time, resources, momentum. 30 days bought at cost of defensive casualties and lost city. Worth it strategically. Ukrainian command thought yes. Calculation was professional, not emotional. This is how competent militaries fight. Calculate costs versus benefits. Act accordingly. Lysychansk defense was calculated, not desperate. Professional withdrawal. Extracting 5,000 soldiers through narrow corridor under fire while enemy pursues is extraordinarily difficult. Requires planning, discipline, rearguard actions, command competence. Ukrainian forces executed this successfully. Most defenders survived. This is professional military capability. Russian forces couldn't prevent withdrawal despite overwhelming advantages. This asymmetry reveals competence gap. Ukrainian forces plan and execute complex operations successfully. Russian forces can't prevent even when trying. Lysychansk withdrawal proves Ukrainian professional competence, proves Russian operational limitations. Casualty mathematics, defense is cheaper than assault. Always. Ukrainian defenders inflicted more casualties than suffered, not because superior, Because defending fortified urban terrain against frontal assault favors defender, Russians eventually won through attrition, but at cost 30 days, thousands of casualties, for ruined city worth nothing functionally. Ukrainian casualties were lower, force was preserved, fought elsewhere. Russian casualties were higher, for city that contributed nothing to subsequent operations. Who won? Depends on metric. Both bled. Neither gained much. War continued. Strategic delay value. 30 days sounds short. In war is long. 30 days is month Russian offensive was consumed at Lysychansk. Month not spent advancing elsewhere. Month Ukrainian forces used to prepare next defensive positions. Month Western weapons arrived. Month Russia couldn't use. Delay has value in war. Lysychansk bought 30 days. Cost was casualties and city. Value was time. Time matters. Sometimes more than terrain. Lysychansk proves this. Operational tempo. Should have captured Lysychansk quickly after. Took month. Why? Ukrainian defense was competent. Russian assault was predictable. Urban warfare is slow. Russians couldn't accelerate despite advantages. This reveals Russian military's limitations. Can't conduct operations faster than Ukrainian defense allows. Can't adapt tactics to speed victory. Just apply firepower until defenders withdraw. Slow, predictable. Allows defender to choose withdrawal timing. Lysychansk proves Russian military can win eventually. Can't win quickly even when advantaged. This tempo limitation is strategic weakness. 3 questions from the beginning. Time to answer them. Why hold 30 days against overwhelming odds? Calculated delay. Everyday cost Russians time and casualties. Strategic value of delay exceeded cost of defense. Professional military calculation. Not heroism. Not desperation. Just math. 30 days was optimal. Held until withdrawal necessary. Then withdrew professionally. Preserved force. Accomplished mission. Math determined everything. Emotions didn't. What calculation justified casualties? Delay value versus force preservation. If defenders held until encircled, force destroyed. No value. If defenders withdrew too early, missed delay opportunity. Suboptimal, optimal timing. Maximum delay before encirclement. This is what Ukrainian command calculated. Held 30 days. With calculation justified casualties by preserving force while maximizing delay. Professional command. Professional execution. This is competent military operations. What does successful withdrawal reveal? Ukrainian professional competence versus Russian operational limitations. Withdrawing 5,000 soldiers under fire through narrow corridor requires planning and execution. Ukrainian forces succeeded despite Russian attempts to prevent. This reveals competence gap. Ukrainian forces plan and execute complex operations. Russian forces can't counter even when advantaged. Lysychansk withdrawal proves Ukrainian military is professionally competent. Russian military is not. This competence gap determines war's trajectory. Lysychansk proves it exists. The lesson from Lysychansk is that losing battles professionally is how competent militaries preserve forces for winning war. Ukrainian forces lost city, preserved defending force, delayed Russian offensive 30 days. All objectives achieved. Professional success despite tactical defeat. This is how warfare works when emotions don't determine decisions. Math determines everything. Ukrainian command calculated correctly, executed professionally, lost city, achieved mission. Both true simultaneously. This is professional military competence. Rare, valuable, decisive in long war. Lysychansk proves Ukraine has it. This is IronBullet. We analyze battles that define wars. Lysychansk defined Ukrainian military's professional competence, held indefensible position 30 days, and extracted maximum cost, withdrew successfully preserving force. Professional military operations. Not heroic sacrifice, not desperate last stand, calculated defense, timed withdrawal, force preservation, mission success, city lost, force preserved, Russians delayed, all achieved. This is how competent militaries fight. Lysychansk is case study. 30 days, 5,000 against 20,000. Withdrawal under fire. Success, professional. Complete. Subscribe to IronBullet. Because in modern warfare, professional competence matters more than heroism. Lysychansk defenders fought professionally, held calculated time, withdrew when math required, preserved force, delayed enemy, achieved objectives, lost city. Both happened, both were planned. Ukrainian military operates professionally, calculates, executes, adapts. Russian military operates predictably, attacks, eventually wins through attrition, can't prevent Ukrainian withdrawal, can't accelerate tempo. This asymmetry determines war. Lysychansk proves it. 5,000 held 30 days, withdrew successfully. Professional military operation. This is why Ukraine survives. This is Lysychansk. 30 days, 5,000 defenders, 20,000 attackers, one supply route, constant fire, professional defense. Calculated withdrawal, force preserved, mission accomplished, city lost. That's Lysychansk. Professional military operations when emotions don't determine decisions. Math determines. Ukrainian command calculated correctly. Defenders executed professionally. Withdrawal succeeded. Force preserved. Fought elsewhere. Lysychansk fell. Russia gained ruins. Ukraine gained time. 30 days. Both sides paid. Both sides claimed success. War continued. Lysychansk became history. Lessons remained. Professional competence. Calculated risk. Successful withdrawal. This determined long war. Lysychansk proved Ukraine has them. That's why still fights. That's lesson. Professional. Complete. Real battles. Real tactics. Real consequences. Stay informed.